The Ibishu Mirena is a new BeamNG mod that brings the Ibishu Pessima into the 21st century. This sport luxury sedan has loads of amazing configs and some really cool engines to check out. And I think this thing looks quite nice. It does look like the Pessima, but this is actually based on the EU domestic market Pessima mod, which is available on the repo. You don't need to have that mod installed, but this is also a free mod on the repo. I've left a link in the description. This is a modernized, very powerful Pessima. Even the base version has 302 horsepower from this 3.5-litre V6. And look at the details on the interior as well. We've got a new center console. The higher spec models do have a GPS down there, and the speedometer has been changed, going up to 175 miles per hour. You may have also noticed we've got a new steering wheel with loads of buttons on. Now, this is the base model called the Sport Enthusiast, and all of these have rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. So it's very different to the front-wheel drive normal Pessima. This thing is way sportier. ESC off. Let's see if we can get this thing to do a bit of a drift. Well, oh, pretty good. I know a lot of people have been calling for a rear-wheel drive Pessima, and this is actually really fun to drive. We do have several drive modes. There's the normal street mode, sport, and sport plus. So let's do it like in sport plus mode. We get slightly louder exhaust noise, and the ESC only really kicks in when it needs to. There you go. Thread the needle through there. Whoa, okay, actually, it seems to control it a little bit when you're drifting. Here we go. Oh, you know what? It makes drifting easier. Wow, that's like cheat mode. And when you floor it on the open road, it sounds glorious. And the gearing has been changed. We do have a really high top speed. I'm not sure this thing can do 175, but there are some over 200 mile per hour configs in this pack. We've also got the quad exhausts at the back. They look great. Here we go, a crash on the highway into an H-Series. Ooh, yeah, it's just about as good as the normal Pessima. Nothing really unexpected here with the crash model. This mod has 25 configs. We've got everything from normal street cars up to race cars. This is the Gran Turismo Sport config, and it's got all-wheel drive. You can see the X here to say it's all-wheel drive. About 30 more horsepower than the base model, 330. On the interior, we've got that GPS, which looks really nice. And you can see some of the styling tweaks. We've got the body kit at the front and the back, these side skirts, and this really nice looking wing. This mod does have a weird issue where the hood is wobbling. That's only a minor thing, but this is actually the first fully fledged mod by the creator Angry Bird. It's really impressive. So all-wheel drive, how does this thing handle compared to the rear-wheel drive config? Well, a bit more horsepower, and it doesn't feel that much faster. What about through the corners? If we really push it, here we go. Yeah, it doesn't want to slide as much. Obviously, we can put the power through the front wheels. Oh, not much torque with this engine. Though in real life, this car takes inspiration from the Infinity cars, specifically the Infinity G and Infinity M. They're like slightly more powerful Nissans. Whoa, good brakes on this thing, but what are the AI doing today? Come on. If you want a bit more luxury, you can get the Sport Luxury config, but this is specifically called the Jin High, and I believe it was sold in China. You can see some Chinese writing at the back here. The interior looks quite nice. We've got these very plush leather seats, and look at this steering wheel. It's almost like a different brand. This thing actually has an automatic gearbox, and it's really, really snappy. I believe it has 7 gears. That automatic gearbox uses the power much better. Whoa. I think there's a car coming. I can't really see where I'm going. Oh, but it takes the jumps quite well. No damage to the underside. Oh. As you go higher up the Mirena's config list, it gets a little bit complicated. This is the highest spec 3.5-litre naturally aspirated GTZ, and this is the Gran Turismo, but this one actually has a V8. And then we've got the Gran Turismo 3.5-litre twin turbo. So first of all, let's take the twin turbo for a spin, and we've got a red interior. This produces 550 horsepower. Let's go. Whoa. That's quick. Twin turbo's working well. I mean, this basically has a Nissan GTR engine, if you think about it. Whoa. And look at the blue dashboard lighting. And of course, this thing is an amazing all-wheel drive drifter. So let's try and go round this roundabout. Yeah. Wow, that's really good. Oh, what a fun car to drive. So they managed to fit a V8 into the Mirena, and it has 450 horsepower. The problem is, in the rear-wheel drive config, the ESC is fighting to, whoa, keep this car in a straight line. Look, whoa, my goodness. In a straight line, absolutely fine. But as soon as you come to any corner and add even the slightest bit of power, this thing is gone. And it's got quite a muted V8. It's a 5-litre V8, 450 horsepower. I was expecting it to be a lot louder. Through this corner, someone's bumper is there, but whoa. It's almost controllable. Almost. There we go. There we go. A little bit of a drift. That's as much as I dare do. And the config list gets a bit more confusing with the Gran Turismo Z. This one has a 5-litre tuned V8. It's naturally aspirated, but this thing produces 600 horsepower. So it is rear-wheel drive, and it's manual as well. That's the ESC on, and it can't put any power down at all. I have no idea how you're meant to drive this thing anything faster than just normal, everyday road speed. Even in 4th gear, I'm getting... Okay. Oh, it's scary to drive. It is quick, though. That torque is insane for a naturally aspirated engine. Look at it. Can we control it? Just about. Oh, brake. Wow. This mod is pretty ambitious, but apparently this car was meant to be produced up to 2010. I think this would have looked quite dated in 2010, but let me know what you think. This is the ProCharger 600 config. It's basically a supercar in a sedan body. We've got the 3.5-litre V6, but 600 horsepower is a hell of a lot. And, it's rear-wheel drive again. So apparently this thing can do over 200 miles per hour. And my first impression is, whoa. This thing doesn't go as crazy with the rear wheels as the other config. I guess it has a lot less torque. Well, there's 150, and we're still accelerating. That engine noise is deafening. But as we pass 180, I don't know if we're going to make it to 200, but there's no doubt in my mind, with a long enough straight of road, we'd get to 200. Wow, that was a big crash, but we've actually not come off that badly from that. And the top-of-the-line car is the Gran Turismo ZX. It's basically the Gran Turismo Z with all-wheel drive, but this thing actually has a V10 engine. Listen to this. Wow, and does it actually fit in here? Yes, it does. That's surprising. So yeah, really loud exhaust. Sounds good though. But back here we have the Jin Hai ZX. This is basically the Chinese version of the Gran Turismo ZX, but it only has the 5-litre V8. So I'm definitely taking this one because all-wheel drive and an automatic gearbox with that V10 producing about 550 horsepower. This should be a bit easier to drive, and it can do apparently 205 miles per hour. Let's see if we can do it. Doesn't feel as rapid as the other configs, but it does rev up to 8,000 RPM. In fact, 8.5. Whoa, 190 already, and we're still going. Can we hit that golden 200 before the end? 198. 199. I didn't see 200, but we were so nearly there. Okay, let's finish off with the race configs. Though we've got the DTM, the German touring car, and the GT2. These things both have V8s, but the DTM has a unique 4-litre V8 engine. It produces 600 horsepower. We've got, of course, a roll cage and a really cool digital dashboard. And it's sequential, but I don't really know how to control it with my gear stick. I haven't got a sequential gear stick. Second gear. Whoa, that's a lot of wheel spin. And it sounds so different. Listen. Very, very subdued again. Up to 9,000 RPM, though. How to handle through the corners. A little bit of understeer, a lot of oversteer. Next gear into third and push it in. I barely touched the throttle. That's a drift. That was a drift. And this corner's pretty difficult. How to handle it? Well, it just wants to drift. What the heck? Full throttle up to 9,000 RPM. It's very, very quick. Let's see what the brakes are like. A lot of locking on the brakes there, but they're really powerful. Suppose they would be if they look like that. Oh, wow. And here we go. The corkscrew. I am dreading this. This car's actually scary to drive. So, into second gear, I think. Push it in. Not too much throttle. Oh, we made it through. Wow. And then the GT2, which also has about 600 horsepower, and the normal 5-litre V8 we've seen in other configs. I'm hoping this thing's easier to drive, and no, it's not. It's not at all. But you can push it into the corner quite fast. It just needs all-wheel drive. No matter what gear, no matter how much throttle you're giving it, it just does not want to grip when you're trying to accelerate. It's crazy. I know I'm not a professional race driver or anything like that, but oh, goodness me. Right, into second gear, or third's fine. No, that didn't go as well. So they are fun, but very difficult to handle. The final config is the twin turbo VMAX. This has the 3.5 litre V6 with 1,600 horsepower. Apparently it can do 285 miles per hour. By the way, this mod does support career mode. You can put the cargo boxes in there and on the rear seats. You'll also find this car for sale in the career mode dealership. We've seen most of the engines in all the different configs today, but there's also a 3 litre V6 engine you can swap into the car. You can play around with a lot of the configurations. You can tune it to your heart's content because this mod has so many custom parts and additions that I don't think you'll see in many other mods. So let's see if we can hit 285 on the highway. Now luckily all of the Mirena configs do come with a 90 litre fuel tank, and it needs it because this car uses up a lot of fuel. Well, we're over 200. I'm going to switch to 6th gear, top speed, and it's stuck at 220, but that's still pretty fast. Oh, and we're in the tunnel now. Oh, wall riding. Impact detected, stopping car. Yeah, 285, not quite, but still really fast. So that was the Ibishu Mirena, a free mod on the repo. I'd love to know what you think of it, but I really enjoyed it, and well done to the mod creator. If you'd like to see another highly tuned vanilla vehicle mod for BeamNG, click the video on screen right now. It's of the ETKI series, and it's called the Goldfish. But that's all from me, and I'll see you soon for some more simulator adventures.